Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Yesterday night, Manchester United drew 1-1 against Newcastle at St James's Park. It was a shocking performance by Manchester United. Defensively, all over the place, and Manchester United gave the ball away a lot, especially in the first half. Manchester United were very lucky to get a draw at Newcastle. I've got to give Newcastle credit. I thought Newcastle played very, very well. Newcastle took the lead in the 7th minute of the game. The goal came from Alain Saint-Maximin. It was a stunning goal as well. In the build-up to the goal, Varane gave the ball away. Alain Saint-Maximin should have had more than one goal. Because he had some good chances. Alain Saint-Maximin come off injured in the game. Callum Wilson, he also scored for Newcastle, but the goal got ruled out for offside. Callum Wilson also went off injured in the game, so Newcastle lost two of their key players. Edinson Cavani came off the bench and rescued a point for Manchester United. Cavani's goal was fortuitous because Cavani's first strike got blocked by the Newcastle defence, and his second strike he miscued it, but it got deflected off Lascelles' boot and went into the bottom right corner of the net. It was Diego Dalot that created Edinson Cavani's goal. It was the first time we'd seen Cavani in action since November? Cavani will be leaving Manchester United next year. If he doesn't leave next month, he'll leave in the summer. He said the other week that Edinson Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Barcelona are seeing Cavani as a replacement for Aguero, because not so long ago Aguero retired due to heart problems. Juventus have also been in for Cavani, and not so long ago Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Cavani's contract at Man United expires in the summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Cavani has got a good pedigree behind him, because look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. David De Gea made several excellent saves in the game. The best save he made was from Almiron towards the end. De Gea is back to his best now. Got to give him credit because this season he's been absolutely superb. You know, De Gea is planning to spend many more years at Manchester United. He's already been a long servant. You know, this season is De Gea's 11th season at Man United. He has been with us since the Ferguson era. You know, he has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He's got under 2 years left on his current contract, and De Gea receives £375,000 a week. Revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back, as he did decide to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks, and it did say that De Gea was determined to fight for his Man United future. Varane, I thought he enjoyed a poor game yesterday night. You know, Varane's just come back from injury. Varane was the culprit for Newcastle's goal. Harry Maguire, I also thought he was very poor. Maguire made some mistakes and he misplaced quite a lot of passes. Maguire has been very, very poor this season. You know, revert back to earlier on in the season, Maguire had that calf injury. He had ligament damage in his ankle towards the end of last season. I thought Maguire was far superior at Leicester than he has been at Manchester United. Manchester United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Maguire did get booked in the game. Fred, I also thought he was very, very poor. Gave the ball away too many times. It's a shame really that Fred was poor, because in the game against Norwich on the 11th of December, you know, he played very, very well. He was probably our best outfield player against Norwich. You know, he played well in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. You know, he scored a stunning goal late on in that game. He also made an impact in the 3-2 win against Arsenal earlier on in the season, because he got an assist in that game and he won the penalty. And he did well in the 1-1 draw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. If you do remember rightly, he squandered a chance in that game. But you can't just put a few good performances out and then put a bad performance out. You know, you've got to persist with them good performances. Fred's not a good player overall, and, you know, Man United paid around £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago. Marcus Rashford, I thought he was very, very poor in the first half. Slightly improved in the second half. Rashford, I think, in the first half started on the right wing, and then he moved to the left wing in the second half. Rashford did have a couple of opportunities in the game. One opportunity was from long range, produced a good save from Dubravka. I thought Rashford's decision making in the game was very poor. Marcus Rashford needs to be dropped by Ralph Rangnick. You know, Rashford has not been the same player since he come back from that shoulder problem. Rashford missed the first 2 months of the season with that shoulder problem. Reports from Spain said the other week that Marcus Rashford could leave Manchester United, as it did mention that Barcelona and PSG are said to be interested. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's risen up our academy and that. He's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got around a year and a half left on his current contract. Bruno Fernandes, average performance by him. He got a yellow card in the game, so he will be missing the game against Burnley on Thursday. Fernandes, at times in the game, tried to make things happen, but I think Fernandes has endured a lot of poor games this season, and I am shocked in that aspect, because last season Bruno Fernandes was absolutely superb. And I've said, Rangnick needs to consider giving Fernandes a rest. But let me put into the equation that Fernandes starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games, so reflecting on that, he will become fatigued. He's one of our best players and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. I think Fernandes did play a part in Edinson Cavani's equaliser. The last goal Fernandes scored for Man United was the 3-2 win against Arsenal. I think the last assist he provided was the 3-0 win against Tottenham in the league earlier on this season. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player now for almost 2 years. Manchester United got Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Fernandes has won awards at Man United reflecting on his good performances. Earlier on in the season, he did make it clear that he wants to stay at Manchester United. He's got a contract with the club until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Earlier on in the season, there was talks about Fernandes extending his contract. Cristiano Ronaldo, he was anonymous in the game yesterday night, didn't get any service. There was one part of the game where a lovely through ball went in to Ronaldo, but he couldn't quite connect with it. Ronaldo, I thought, was lucky not to be sent off in the game for that challenge on Ryan Fraser. Ronaldo did get a yellow card for the challenge on Ryan Fraser. Ronaldo was nowhere near good enough yesterday night, and Ronaldo is the best player in the world overall. And since he's re-signed for Man United, he's saved Manchester United quite a few times. If it weren't for Ronaldo, we'd be in a worse position than we're in now. Ronaldo has won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. I can't see him seeing out his contract. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. Ronaldo wears a number 7 shirt. Manchester United got him in a deal worth £19.8 million with add-ons included. Diego Dalot weren't too good. Like I said, he did create Edinson Cavani's goal, but he really struggled against Alan Saint-Maximin. Dalot is our first choice right back under Ralph Rangnick. Alex Telles, of course, he played yesterday night. Average performance by him. McTominay obviously played alongside Fred. Didn't McTominay go off injured in the game? Rangnick brought substitutions on. We saw Jadon Sancho come on. Edison Cavani came on. And Nemanja Matic came on. But the performance against Newcastle yesterday night was similar to the performance against Norwich over 2 weeks ago. You know, the game against Newcastle yesterday night was Manchester United's first game in over 2 weeks, so reflecting on that, there was no excuses. But from a Newcastle perspective, they'll be very disappointed that they didn't get all 3 points. As you all know, Jacob Murphy hit the post, and that should have definitely gone in. Jonjo Shelvey had a couple of chances in the game as well. He had a long-range effort in the first half, produced a good save from De Gea. I think he also had an opportunity in the second half. But, you know, if Newcastle continue to perform like they did yesterday night, Newcastle will probably stay up. Let me put into the equation that Newcastle were missing some players. Obviously, there was no Isaac Hayden. He was suspended. Obviously, they had Jamal Lewis injured. There was no Federico Fernandez. He was injured. And they had no Paul Dummett. He was out with injury. Newcastle are in the relegation zone, so they are in trouble. You know, back in October, Newcastle had that £300 million takeover by the Saudi Arabians. Obviously, Newcastle are planning to invest heavily next year. But it's going to be hard for Newcastle to convince good players to join them with the position they're in at the moment. Before the Saudi Arabians, obviously Newcastle had Mike Ashley. Mike Ashley ruined Newcastle. You know, Mike Ashley was Newcastle's owner for around 13 years. He was heavily criticised. Obviously, Newcastle's manager is Eddie Howe. Newcastle appointed him in earlier on in the season to replace Steve Bruce. When Eddie Howe got appointed in, he signed a 2.5-year contract with Newcastle. Before Newcastle, Eddie Howe managed Bournemouth. He was a long-serving manager at Bournemouth. He beat Manchester United a few times, didn't he, as Bournemouth manager? And he also had a spell with Burnley. Earlier on in the season, Newcastle sacked Steve Bruce, and before Steve Bruce, they had Rafa Benitez. Rafa Benitez resigned because he didn't get enough backing. A lot of Newcastle fans were disappointed when Rafa Benitez resigned because Newcastle were actually very consistent under Rafa Benitez. By the way, Ralph Rangnick was not happy with Manchester United's performance at all against Newcastle. It's the first game we dropped points in under Ralph Rangnick. But I was expecting Manchester United to beat Newcastle. Obviously beating them earlier on in the season at Old Trafford 4-1. That was the game when Ronaldo scored twice on his second debut. You know, Manchester United won the fixture at St James's Park last season 4-1. Manchester United's next game is Burnley. That is on Thursday. The preview will be coming up for that later on today. And then after Burnley, Manchester United play Wolves. That's Manchester United's first game of 2022. Rangnick, he's been given £75 million to spend in January. There's a lot of players Manchester United are in for. Now obviously Manchester United are in for Julian Alvarez from River Plate. He said Man United have been in advanced talks with River Plate for Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez has around a £17 million release clause that is set to become active. He's been a very long-serving player at River Plate. His contract at River Plate expires next year. Ralph Rangnick wants Erling Haaland. Revert back to the other week, it said Rangnick spoke with Erling Haaland's father over the possibility of his son making a move to Manchester United next year. Bild said the other week that Man United are currently only the serious bidder for Haaland. Manchester United are ready to pay Erling Haaland's release clause. Haaland has a release clause of £60 million but doesn't become active until the summer. Haaland is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. He's a prolific goal scorer. He is still young, he's got a lot of development in him, and if he comes to the Premier League, I can assure that he will exceed expectations. Haaland has been an absolute revelation at Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund got Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg for 17.1 million back in 2020. He's got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2024. At one point he played at Molde, did Haaland. Obviously he played under Solskjaer. Obviously Man United tried to sign Haaland under Solskjaer. You know the news on Ruben Neves. I read the Manchester Evening News yesterday and it said Manchester United plan Ruben Neves swoop. Man United are in a battle with Chelsea for Neves. Neves, of course, is at Wolves. He's been at Wolves since 2017. Wolves paid around 15.8 million for him from Porto. He's got a contract with Wolves until 2024. He is a midfielder. I'd certainly take him at Manchester United, Ruben Neves. You know, he's been very good for Wolves and he's well proven in the Premier League, and he's still young, he's got a lot of development in him. Don't forget, Rangnick has identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. Man United have also been linked with Boubacar Kamara. Boubacar Kamara's contract talks with Marseille have stalled. His current contract at Marseille expires at the end of the season. The other week it said Manchester United agreed terms on a £10 million deal to sign Boubacar Kamara. He said Boubacar Kamara was set to become the first signing of the Ralph Rangnick era. Kamara's predominantly a defensive midfielder, but he can also be deployed as a centre-half. He's only the age of 22. Kamara's been at Marseille all his life. He joined Marseille as a 5-year-old back in 2005. Risen up their academy, and he broke into Marseille's senior squad back in 2016, and he's gone to make over 100 appearances. In recent weeks, Manchester United have been in for Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea and Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. Man United have also been in for Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. Florian Wirtz is rated at £60 million, and it's already said that Florian Wirtz is Rangnick's #1 transfer target for January. He said Rangnick is eyeing 4 German wonder kids. Manchester United will enjoy a quiet January transfer window. Romano's already said that Man United's main focus on new signings is the summer, not January. So Man United will focus more on the outgoings in January than the incomings. Obviously, the news on Anthony Martial. Prior to the game against Newcastle, Rangnick confirmed that Anthony Martial wants to leave Manchester United. Last Wednesday, Martial held talks with Rangnick over his future. Earlier on this month, Anthony Martial's agent confirmed that Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January. Man United did set a £30 million asking price on Martial. There's been quite a few clubs in for him. Now, it said Sevilla want Martial on loan. It said Sevilla reached an agreement in principle to sign Martial, but it said Martial's wages are the stumbling block for Sevilla. Martial receives around £240,000 a week at Man United. Newcastle have also been in for Martial. It said they wanted him on loan. It said Newcastle were ready to pay a £6 million loan fee for Martial. Arsenal have inquired about him. Barcelona have been in for him. Juventus have been in for him. A few weeks ago now, was it? It said Atletico Madrid were planning a swap deal for Martial. Martial's got an injury at the moment. Martial's demanding more game time. He's getting nowhere near enough game time at Manchester United. He's only made, 2 starts in the league this season. He's no longer good enough to represent the club. I thought last season he was good, but the best season he enjoyed was his debut season under Van Gaal. Manchester United paid an initial fee of £36 million for Martial from Monaco back in 2015. Martial's been a Manchester United player for 7 years. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. He's scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Like I said, I think Cavani will be leaving next year. Mata will leave next year. Lingard will leave in the summer because the other week it said Lingard will be staying at Man United in January to fight for his place under Rangnick. If Van der Beek leaves next year, he'll leave in the summer because Van der Beek's not allowed to leave next month as Van der Beek is valued by Ralph Rangnick. Van der Beek played no part yesterday night against Newcastle. Matic, I think he'll leave next year. Paul Pogba, if he leaves next year, it'll be the summer because Man United are not negotiating a Paul Pogba transfer next month. It said, Man United expect Pogba to stay in January despite Pogba nearing the end of his contract. Pogba's contract at Man United expires in the summer. revert back to the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's still out with that muscle injury at the moment, but he is close to returning. Pogba's been out for a while. He got the muscle injury in France training earlier on in the season. Jones and Bailly will leave next year as well. Tellez could leave next year. And Dean Henderson, he'll leave in January because Fabrizio Romano's already said that Dean Henderson wants to leave Man United in January to get more game time. Henderson doesn't really get in goal because obviously De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back last summer. Henderson has only made 2 appearances this season. Earlier on in the season, Henderson had COVID. So there you go. But Rangnick, I think he's enjoyed a good start to his managerial career. You know, he hasn't lost yet as Man United manager. You know, he is Man United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. There again, Rangnick's been warned he could lose the consultancy role if he fails to get Man United into the Champions League. You know, Man United are 7 points behind Arsenal, but we do have 2 games in hand over Arsenal, because obviously prior to the game against Newcastle we had his last 2 games postponed because of positive COVID tests, and I think we've got 1 game in hand over West Ham. Manchester United have got to win a trophy under Rangnick. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Rangnick's brought 3 additions to Man United because the other week Man United confirmed the appointment of Ewan Sharp as an assistant coach and an analyst. You know, Man United got Ewan Sharp from Lokomotiv Moscow. Ewan Sharp has worked at Toronto FC and New York Red Bulls before. He knows Rangnick well because he's worked with him before, and he knows Chris Armas well because he's worked with Chris Armas twice before. Obviously, earlier on in the season, Rangnick brought Chris Armas in as an assistant, and he also recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. In the summer, Manchester United will appoint a permanent manager. Man United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and over a month ago Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Anyway, on my next video, I'll be giving you the player ratings from the 1-1 draw against Newcastle, and after that, your Burnley preview will be coming up. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.